fuckers.
Seen that? Hello? Hello?
Hey! Hey!
Venturing into the woods alone at night can be terrifying. But what happens when you encounter someone, or something, you'd rather never meet? Like this first encounter on October 7th, 2022. Nick and Ted, from the YouTube channel The Hunting Public, ventured deep into the woods for a bow hunting trip. And when their last morning began, they had chosen to spend the day scouting and, if luck was on their side, make a successful hunt. But as the hours passed, their efforts yielded nothing. Although by midday, the trip took a turn they never could have anticipated. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright, so me and Ted are set up. We ended up getting almost 1.5 miles back in here. We were walking this ridge top like we were talking about. It ended up being 3 super fresh scrapes. So we jumped up in a tree. Pretty dang high up in a tree. Yeah. Real high. And we're actually like directly above one of the scrapes. But it's super tight in here. I mean, any shot's gonna be close at all. I mean, 20 and in, 25 and in maybe. But we feel good about it. So, best sign we found all week. Last 2 hours of the trip. So we're giving her all right now.
The calm of daylight was suddenly broken. From somewhere in the distance, a scream tore through the trees, raw, human, and impossible to ignore. A moment later, the sharp crack of a gunshot echoed across the woods. Both men stopped in their tracks, glancing at each other with disbelief. At first, they tried to rationalize it. Perhaps it was another group of hunters. Perhaps it was nothing at all. But deep down, they knew something about it felt wrong.
I mean, there ain't nothing out here. I keep getting chills all down my back.
Yeah. Somebody is screaming at the absolute top of their lungs over there.
Very not good obscenities to someone else. Right before that last gunshot, it sounded like a truck revving up or something, like in gravel, throwing gravel or something.
Yeah.
And then that gunshot was like, that one sounded like a rifle.
Yeah.
That last one, the other one sounded like a handgun. That last one was like, pow.
Could you make out a few things they were saying? It wasn't good.
Things we won't repeat on here, but it was like blood-curdling screaming. I've never witnessed anybody screaming like that.
Yeah.
ended up warping them on it. How close we would be to that.
We might have been able to see it. That's terrifying.
That is wicked.
Well, hopefully nobody got shot, but sure sounded like somebody did.
Sounds like somebody might have got killed over there. Your vehicle.
Yep. Still screaming.
Sounds like somebody crying. Seen somebody yell.
What are they saying? I'm shaking.
The woods grew tense, the air heavy with unease. More gunshots followed, spaced out, deliberate, each one reverberating louder than the last. And then eventually, the screaming and gunshots stopped altogether. It was the sudden silence that made it worse, leaving the men to wonder what had just ended, and why. Daylight should have brought comfort, but instead, it made the sounds all the more jarring. This wasn't the cover of night. It was happening in plain sight, under the sun, somewhere too close for comfort.
Nick's looking up this house, the nearest house over there, so we can call somebody whenever we get out of here. We ain't got any service in here, so can't call the police and tell them to go over there and see what the heck's going on, but sound like something off a dang horror movie over there. Pretty scary. Hoping nobody's getting killed or hurt over there.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody says that they heard somebody screaming bloody murder, that's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
That's the most blood-curdling,
They're still yelling.
horrific screaming I've ever heard.
Uneasy and shaken, Nick and his Ted decided not to continue hunting any longer. They contacted the authorities, reporting what they had heard before leaving the woods behind.
Yes. I've heard some stuff that I feel needs to be reported to the police department.
Okay.
I was hunting, me and a buddy were hunting, and at about 6:45, we heard gunshots, which is not uncommon, but then for 30 minutes straight or so, there was lots of screaming and just people, obscenities, and it sounded like something really bad was going on over there, and there was 20 or more gunshots ended up happening. And then I could hear vehicles taking off and coming to a halt, and we didn't know what to do, and we had no service, so we're trying to report and see if anything had been reported about there. I have pins dropped on a map about how far we were from where we think this was occurring. My name is Nicholas Andrews.
Later, they would learn that nothing was ever found. No reports, no injured hunters, no sign of distress. Just silence, as though the forest had swallowed the answers whole. In a way, they were fortunate. The screams and gunfire had been close enough to rattle them, but just far enough away to keep them from being pulled into whatever had unfolded. It served as a sobering reminder of how quickly the woods can shift from peaceful to dangerous, and how important it is to let others know where you are and to remain aware of your surroundings at all times. So what truly happened out there? Were those screams a plea for help? And were the gunshots aimed at game, or at someone else entirely? In the absence of answers, only one thing remains certain. Some places hide their secrets well, even in the light of day. The woods had fallen silent, leaving Nick and Ted with questions that would never be answered. But silence in the wild means not always safety, as this next adventurer would soon discover. His night alone in the forest, turned into a confrontation not with mystery, but with raw survival. Hey, creepy community, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm giving away $1,000 in cash to the ultimate creepy superfan. So, how can you enter? It's simple. Step 1. Subscribe to all 3 of my new channels, Horror Vids, Scary Vids, and Dark Vids. Step 2. Like the very first video on each channel. Step 3. Leave a creepy comment under every video I upload in the next 2 weeks. On the 8th of September, I'll choose one winner who's been the most active, the most supportive, and who's dropped the creepiest, most original comments. Want to win $1,000? Then leave your mark. Everywhere. Let's make it creepy. Let's make it legendary. On August 13th, 2023, Joseph, the creator behind the YouTube channel 50/50 Fishing, made the bold decision to step away from his usual fishing adventures. Instead of focusing solely on the water, he opted for a camping trip, thinking it would be a chance to enjoy the great outdoors, spend a quiet night under the stars, and of course, do a bit of fishing along the way. What he didn't realize was that this choice would lead to one of the most unsettling nights of his life as darkness settled in.
I just woke up. I heard something like a weird noise. What the hell is it? There's something else here. There's what the yeah, that sounds like a bear, like for real. Oh shit. I think it stopped, man. It like pushed my whole tent in right here. I'm about to go look. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I thought I heard it kind of run away. What the fuck? I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna sleep now.
Joseph had drifted off to sleep until he got woken up, and the calm was broken by a deep, guttural growl just outside his tent. A bear had wandered into his campsite. The low rumble circled him, closer and closer, its weight pressing against the silence of the forest. With each pass, the growls grew louder, more aggressive, shaking him with the terrifying realization that there was nothing but a thin wall of fabric between himself and a powerful predator. In a moment of desperation, Joseph reached for his gun and aimed it toward the sound on the other side of the tent. His hand shook, his breath shallow, waiting for the worst. But after what felt like an eternity, the growls faded. The bear moved on, leaving behind only the pounding of Joseph's heart and the eerie quiet of the woods. And when the first strays of daylight came through, the decision was clear. He wasted no time packing up his gear, leaving the campsite behind. What began as a simple camping trip had turned into a stark reminder of just how vulnerable we are in the wild. Joseph's night was a reminder of nature's power, the danger that comes with teeth and claws. But not every threat in the dark belongs to the living. For Casey and Colton, entering an old schoolhouse meant stepping into a space where the past had never let go. Mindseed TV is a channel built on confrontation, of fear, of doubt, of the places where history doesn't sit quietly. And in this episode, Casey Nolan and Colton spend the night inside an old elementary school. A building refitted as a getaway home, yet burdened by a past that refuses to loosen its grip. The owners have felt it. Missing objects, tugging hands, the unmistakable sense of being watched. And they believe something remains here, attached not to furniture or walls, but to the memory of what happened on this ground. Tonight, Casey and Colton intend to learn what still lingers and whether it wants to be left alone.
When we got the house, it was like, you know, they say don't look a gift horse in the mouth. It was a deal that seemed too good to be true. And you know, subsequently, we've come to find out that maybe there's a reason for that. I guess what you'd call a tragedy occurred there. There were a bunch of like portables or trailers that were attached to the school, and that it was in that part of the school where I guess there was a fire, which turned out for most of the children to not be significant. They were able to escape, but I guess there was one of those trailers that was not the case, and where children actually perished.
The story of the place arrives with the key. A building rescued from abandonment, sold for a price that felt too generous, and a tragedy quietly threaded through its history. Temporary classrooms, a fire, children who did not make it out. As the owner speaks, the camera drifts through sun-faded photographs and restored hallways while the weight of his words settles over the space. The earliest signs were small, keys wandering across a room, things not where hands had left them. Then it changed. What was once mischievous became intimate. Pajama fabric tugged in the dark, a gesture small enough to be childlike, and yet chilling enough to make sleep thin and nervous. Casey listens, not promising answers so much as intention. They will document what is here, and if there is a way to ease it, they will try.
The fuck was that?
You know exactly what that was.
That's a wolf, huh?
Gotta be.
Yeah, that's one hell of a way to start the night.
Yeah, dude.
Hearing fucking wolves howling in the middle of this fucking
Yeah, they kind of
nowhere ass place.
right now are big. Fuck you up. I'm hungry right now, wolves.
Watch your step. Got a little bit of a weird odor in here, huh?
A little bit. Kind of smells good though.
Yeah. Within the first 20 seconds of being inside the house, I noticed movement in the corner of my eye. This place is very vintage looking, you know?
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised because they did a pretty good job restoring it, you know, after the fire and everything. What's this say? Hey, whoa, hey, you seen that? Hello? Hello?
No fucking way.
Night drops like a curtain, and the setting answers back. A full moon pushes silver light across the roofline. Somewhere beyond the tree line, a long, deliberate howl peals through the cold. The sound isn't supernatural, but it doesn't need to be. It sharpens the edges of the property and reminds them both how alone they are out here. And as they step inside, the first movement comes quickly. A door at the far end of a corridor eases from latch to open, the way a breath opens a throat.
What's this say? Hey, whoa, hey, you seen that? Hello? Hello?
No fucking way.
In an instant, the plan changes. This is not a night for a casual walkthrough. Static cameras must go up now, in multiple rooms, to let the building speak and see what they can get.
Hello? Huh. Hey, we should get static cameras in here, like,
Immediately.
right away. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's already shit moving. We'll just set them up before we do anything in here.
Okay. Okay.
Dude, it's ice cold down here. Is it just me, or does it feel colder down here than it is outside right
Way colder.
now? Right?
a toy horse began to rock back and forth on its own, an unsettling sight in the stillness of the room. But what makes this moment even stranger is what the camera caught at the same time. An orb, or perhaps a shadow, drifting away from the toy. Watch closely and decide for yourself. Although Casey and Colton weren't aware of this event at this moment, the door swinging open on its own, and the heavy atmosphere that hung inside the house was already enough to prove this wasn't just an ordinary place. It unsettled them deeply, yet at the same time, it was exactly the kind of experience they had hoped for. And for them, the night was only just beginning. They began their night by attempting to reach out, trying to communicate with whatever might still linger within these walls. But before they could get far, something else caught their attention, pulling their focus away, and confirmed them even more that in this place, they were not alone.
Do you want to leave this location? Okay. There's that ting noise again.
Whoa.
Okay. There's that ting noise again.
Whoa.
Said no, and then it sounded like a pot just got like flicked or something. That's weird.
One thing was clear. If there is something bound to this place, it is not ready to follow a hallway out into the night. Next, they cycled through their equipment, trying different ways to reach out. The spirit box produced unsettling tones, unlike anything they had heard before, and faint sounds drifted through the silence that set their nerves on edge. Down in the basement, recorders picked up strange audio, whispers and breaths that didn't belong. Though the noise would vanish as quickly as it came, the weight of it lingered, leaving them certain that if something was bound to this place, it was choosing carefully when and how to make itself known. Hours slipped by, filled with odd moments and fleeting noises, but nothing that felt like undeniable proof. It wasn't until they began reviewing the footage that a different story emerged, one the equipment had captured in silence, even as they remained unaware.
Hey, we should get static cameras in right away. Yeah. Hey, we should get static cameras in here right away. Yeah.
Static cameras in here, right away. Yeah.
I still do not want to believe what I think I saw.
If I had seen what I saw on the playback of that footage down below us, I would not have even taken one step down those stairs.
I had no idea that there was so much going on around us all night. To me, it seemed like we got a little bit of movement and some pretty questionable EVP recordings. But when we looked at the footage back and the static cameras and everything compiled in one, this place was extremely active for us the night we were there.
When morning eventually came, they left with what they came for and more than they wanted. Audio that breathed without lungs, cameras that witnessed what eyes missed, a melody that had no business threading across frequencies, as if the space itself were playing an instrument only it could hold. The school is a home now, but the past hasn't agreed to the renovation. Some places do not ask to be understood. They ask to be acknowledged. And if this school has learned anything from years spent teaching the living, it is how to command attention. Casey and Colton gave it that for one long night and walked away with a lesson that will not fade. Not every presence wants release, and not every door that opens is an invitation. Sometimes it is a reminder, soft as a tug on fabric, cold as a cellar, that what waits in the dark does not need you to believe in it to be real. The schoolhouse held on to its tragedies, echoing them through whispers, shadows, and doors that refused to stay closed. Yet the feeling of being watched isn't always confined to places marked as haunted. For Ian, a simple night of car camping turned into something far more personal and far more unsettling. Ian is the creator behind the channel Ian on YouTube, where he shares his outdoor experiences, often rooted in simplicity and resourcefulness. In this video, he chose something that should have been easy and familiar: a night camping in his car. It was meant to be straightforward, safe, and quiet. But as the hours passed, that night would turn into something very different from what he expected. After a long day, Ian drove to one of his go-to spots, a place tucked between familiar businesses and side streets where he had camped before without trouble. It was the sort of place that felt unremarkable in daylight, but at night, it carried the comfort of routine.
Starting to come together here. This is my go-to spot when I just need a quick camp for the night. I think everybody who like sleeps in cars and sleeps in vans has these go-to spots. This spot right here, you guys will recognize by McDonald's and Vons if you're a longtime follower of the channel. This is my go-to spot. So we are all hunkered down here. I'm gonna go to the back and check out this sandwich. All right.
He parked, settled in, and had a simple meal. Nothing more than a sandwich and water, but enough to close out the day. The atmosphere inside the car was warm and ordinary, the small rituals of organizing gear and setting up for sleep grounding him in the space. Yet outside, the rain began to fall, soft at first, then steady, tapping against the windshield like a reminder that the night was just beginning.
But without further ado, man, I mean, I guess that's it for today's video. Sorry guys, it wasn't an absolute banger or anything, but I'm gonna hunker down. Big ups to Steve Wallace, the best YouTuber of all time. And I'm going to watch some sort of Star Wars. I don't know what, I think I've watched all the Star Wars. But yeah, I'm gonna watch something Star Wars. And I will see you guys in the morning. Peace. Guys, that was so weird. That dude right there went right in front of me. And I guess he might have seen the light from the GoPro, but he like shined his lights in here. That was so weird, man. Why would you do that? What an awkward thing. And now he's just chilling there. All right, now I'm getting kind of sketched out. I jinxed myself.
The comfort broke. The encounter lasted only seconds, but the effect was unsettling. In places like this, where stealth is part of the point, even the smallest recognition from a stranger carries weight. Ian tried to brush it off, telling himself it was nothing, yet the thought remained. Why had the man checked at all? Ian turned to his heater, a small unit he had been eager to test, and for a while, it distracted him. The warmth filled the small space quickly, condensation running down the windows while the rain outside intensified. But just as the quiet returned and comfort began to settle in, something shifted. A noise cut through the night, sharp, abrupt, and close enough to shake him awake.
What the heck? Guys, what was that? No. We gotta get out of here. We gotta go. Something ain't right. I was asleep. I don't know what's going on. No! What the fuck? No, dude. We gotta get out of here, man.
Ian, still groggy from sleep, struggled to make sense of the sounds. Were they gunshots? And if so, were they meant for him? One thing, however, was undeniable. It was the same truck that had shined its lights into his car earlier that night. Heart pounding, Ian made the decision that no camper wants to make: to leave immediately. He packed hastily, every sound outside pulling his focus back to the possibility that someone or something was near. The relief was instant, but it carried with it the weight of what had just unfolded. The night that should have been simple had twisted into something far more unnerving. In a car surrounded by rain, in a place he thought he knew, Ian had felt the unmistakable presence of being watched. And so he left the spot behind, safe but unsettled. Some nights remind us that even the most ordinary places can hold a darker edge, that what feels routine by day can become something else entirely when darkness falls. And for Ian, this night was one of them. A reminder that sometimes safety is only an illusion, fragile and fleeting, until it breaks. Ian's night proved that even familiar places can turn against you, twisting comfort into dread. But some seek out the unknown deliberately. This next YouTuber, Chris, returned to the deep forests of Kentucky, not to avoid fear, but to face it head on. Chris is the solo investigator behind NKPS Paranormal, a YouTube channel dedicated to real-time explorations of haunted and remote areas. In this video, he returns to a stretch of deep forest in Kentucky, an area he had visited before, but never spent the night alone. As he arrives, it's already late, close to 11 p.m., and the woods feel alive. Frogs croak in the distance, insects hum relentlessly, and every gust of wind seems to push the shadows in closer. Chris casually mentions keeping a firearm and bear spray nearby, but it becomes clear that his real concern isn't predators that can be seen. It's the things that move here, unseen.
So I'll get back to you after I set the tent and everything up. So guys, like I said, I'm camping here tonight, trying to catch something for y'all. I'm already hearing noises. You can hear the bullfrogs plain as day.
With camp set and gear arranged, Chris settles into his tent. The forest outside seems ordinary enough, but that illusion doesn't last long. The first strange sounds reach him almost immediately, subtle yet distinct, a reminder that these woods don't sleep.
I don't think I'm gonna cook tonight. What was that? It's a weird squeaking noise. Like almost like a turkey event. Turkeys don't do that at night. Guys, I'm hearing stuff walk around the tent. I've got the knife here for protection. Also got the PP back here, the gun, GUN. But that, you hear that noise between the frogs? I think that's a coyote, but hear that? I don't know. Never heard that noise back here before.
Although Chris is more than capable of defending himself, the sound unsettles him. It's not the typical call of an animal, nor the harmless scurry of something small. It's different. Still, this is why he's here, to confront the unexplainable. With a careful calm, he steadies himself, listening intently as the forest begins to change around him.
Oh, and I already started the old step 2, Steve Wallace style. Got some Southern Comfort in there. Trying to get relaxed, trying to fill this area out. Listen to my surroundings. Somebody out there? You heard them frogs? You heard how loud they were? Now it's quiet. Little bitty bugs, sure. Like you can hear them, like the cicadas, but
Chris points it out as it happens. The night shifts in an instant. The chorus of frogs and insects cuts off, replaced by a silence so sudden it feels unnatural. Only the occasional crack of a branch or faint rustle breaks through, signs that something has moved close. Then, just as abruptly, the sounds return. Life resumes, but the silence has already said enough. Something passed through. As the hours drag on, Chris pushes deeper into the investigation. By 2 a.m., he has set up his Mel meter and REM pod inside the tent, their faint lights blinking in the dark. The Spirit Talker app joins them, spitting out words in response to his questions. The devices react with consistency, enough to make him believe there is indeed a presence with him. But what he doesn't realize yet is that the most disturbing part of this night may not be paranormal at all.
well, I'm gonna give you all a few more minutes, and then we're gonna call this quit with this stuff. Then we're gonna go out and walk around and see what we can get into, see what we can find. And then we're gonna call it a night. Hey! Hey! What the fuck was that? Jesus Christ. Something just literally jumped on this tent.
Despair.
Who is out there? Did you all see that?
The strike against his tent comes without warning. A heavy impact, forceful enough to shake the fabric. Chris freezes, his body tensing as his mind races for explanations. A bear? A deer? But deep down, he knows it's not that simple. There had been no sound of approach, no footsteps before or after. Whatever it was, it hit the tent directly. and then disappeared.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm shook up, guys. Seriously, I don't have a clue what that was. Whatever it was is big. I pushed it away, and I didn't hear no footsteps. Let me settle down. I'm like shaking. I mean, I didn't hear nothing. Just something jumped on my tent, and it was big. It was heavy. I could feel it. Is someone out there? Guys, I am armed in here. Man, that made me. I'm still shook up about that. That scared the living daylights out of me.
Time drags in the aftermath. Chris struggles to calm his breathing, forcing himself to believe it was something harmless. But the truth is harder to ignore. The sensation of something landing on the thin fabric above him refuses to fade. It felt intentional, precise, like a single, targeted act. His instincts scream at him to leave, but instead, he stays.
Guys, I don't know if I can sleep out here all night now. There's that noise again. I hope it's picking up on the mic. It's like chatter, like back and forth. So we've heard footsteps. Whatever that was, it jumped on the tent. Now, instead of the owl being down there, owl is up there hooting. Heard chatter from whatever that is. It's been a wild night. We got some good evidence on the spirit box. We were talking to somebody. The woods are quiet. They're dead right now. I hate to use that word, but it's dead silent. Whatever pushes the tent down had to have some weight to it. Calm down, Chris. Be logical. What could it be? Could a branch drop and hit that? It didn't feel like a branch. I don't know, guys. I'm bewildered. I have no clue what jumped on my tent. I mean, what would jump on your tent? Or push on your tent? Whatever.
Eventually, he gathers his courage. The zipper of the tent cuts through the silence as he steps out into the cold night air, flashlight in hand. The beam swings across the clearing, over branches, rocks, dirt. But nothing moves, no tracks, no eye shine, no sign of what had just struck with such force. In one sense, it's a relief, but it also leaves him with a heavier question. What kind of presence can leave an impact like that and vanish without a trace? By morning, exhaustion wins out. Chris manages a few hours of uneasy sleep, though at around 6 a.m., the tent shakes again. Brief, jarring, and unexplained. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe not. Either way, the forest offered no answers. Chris leaves the woods carrying only fragments. A night of silence broken by unexplainable noises, equipment reacting to unseen presences, and the memory of something striking his tent in the dark. He says he'll return, more prepared, determined to search again for what lingers in the Kentucky forest. For now, he walks away. But the question remains. If what came to him that night wasn't an animal and wasn't the wind, then what was it? Chris left the woods with more questions than answers, carrying the weight of a night that never fully revealed itself. But not all dangers hide behind the veil of the paranormal. For Johnny, a hike into the forest brought him face to face with a threat that was all too human. Florida Boy Johnny is the channel created by Johnny, who usually documents his outdoor adventures in a lighthearted way. But in this video, he and his girlfriend had set out on an adventure that would turn into something far more unsettling than they ever expected. It was October 4th, 2021. The plan was straightforward. Spend a few days in nature, far from distractions, and enjoy the peace of the outdoors. But as they neared their chosen campsite, something immediately felt kind of strange.
That's pretty decent.
Oh, there we go.
There's somebody down here already.
Uh-oh.
That's kind of spooky.
It's spooky. What are we gonna do?
Well, he's parked exactly where we need to be. Of all places.
Dig.
I'm gonna find another spot.
Good morning, good morning.
Oh, yeah, so I forgot I had the camera on actually. We are tired. We are doing
Spiderweb. Sorry.
a hiking slash camping trip. Danny's over here dying. We both have like 900 pounds of gear on us.
Oh no.
And it's wet
It's wet.
and slippy. So we are currently trying to find the actual trailhead. Yeah, everything's overgrown. Everything is wet.
Parked in the very spot where they had planned to leave their own car sat an old, solitary truck. In such a remote area, the sight was strange, out of place, almost intrusive. A quiet unease settled over both of them. Still, they tried to shake it off, convincing themselves that it could just be another camper, or perhaps a hunter passing through. Joking kept the mood alive, but beneath the laughter, there was already a subtle tension, a sense that the woods around them weren't entirely welcoming.
There's a spot that we're heading to. It's
Hopefully it's clear.
essentially it's in the middle of the woods. And it's a good
Watch those people from back there be camping where we're gonna be going.
Can you hear me? We're heading back the other way. Grab your bag. We're trying to find the trail. We're heading back the other direction. Hurry.
Oh, I'm trying.
That was a 22. It went right over our heads. So we just got shot at. We hit the tree right next to us.
No way.
Within 2 feet.
So I could have died today.
I just stopped recording too, and it whizzed by. Okay.
Do you want to keep going up that trail or you want to go back down that one? We'll see us because he's up over there.
So we just got shot at. We were, and I just stopped recording, but there is somebody deep in the woods that direction. Shot what sounded like a 22, hit a tree about 2 feet away from us. And we were finding a spot to set up, and we had just set our bags down. I set the camera down after I stopped recording, and a bullet, 22, whizzed right above our heads into the tree that we were standing next to.
And so I yelled out to him, whoever it was, got no response. Yelled out several more times, got one response, no idea what he said. I wonder if it's that fucking truck.
It might be. Why in the fuck is he all the way out here fucking shooting at people?
That uneasy feeling they already had sharpened into something far more dangerous. The silence was suddenly broken by a sound they would never forget. A gunshot. The crack of the bullet tore through the air and missed them by only a narrow margin. In that moment, realization set in. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't the distant echo of a hunter's rifle. This was close. This was deliberate. Someone had fired at them. Fear took over, but instinct pushed them forward. They scrambled for safety, unsure of the shooter's location, the forest around them now feeling like a trap.
I think people live in these woods.
What?
So I think people live in these woods.
What? I think that was a rage. Oh my god. My name's Danielle Hogan, but the person you'll be calling is Johnny Hayes. My boyfriend's wearing a black shirt and tan jeans, and I'm wearing a tan shirt and blue jeans right now. And then he has an orange backpack, and I've got a gray one. Back. She's having people come out here.
Like on foot or what?
I don't know. Well, she said that she's gonna have people come out here.
Choosing not to risk retracing their steps, they reported the incident to police and quickly sought another way out of the woods. Every step towards safety was heavy with the thought that someone might still be watching.
Okay, so we just got off the phone with a local police number. We're too far out for anybody to meet us, so we're having to track back through the woods and make our way over to an access road. Oh, we have to go through all this crap to get to it. I'm recording just in case anything happens again, because when it happened the first time, I had just stopped recording when the shots came out. We were just off of the trail, and whoever this was, they had to have known where we were the whole time. One of those shots landed right above our heads in the tree that we were standing by. And essentially, we're right here. The round hit about right here, but on my right side. The first one, I'm not too sure where it hit, but I heard it whiz by. And then it was the second one that landed right next to us. And there's no way anybody can say, oh, I thought it was an animal. No animal wears a bright orange backpack. Do I?
As far as like hunting season goes, there's a whole bunch of stuff that just opened up yesterday. Yeah. And this whole area, the whole trail area.
Yeah.
It's you can hunt on it.
Okay.
And stuff. I grew up in Pennsylvania. Our hunting season starts a lot earlier out there, and general rule of thumb is we don't really go into the woods after the 15th of September, because that's when everything opens up, and you got to deal with the idiots, and you got to deal with the people from Jersey.
We had just stopped, and all of a sudden we had one round go right past us, maybe 10 feet, and then another one right above our head, and literally like 2 feet above our head into the tree, and it just sounded like a 22.
I'll go down. I'm gonna see if I can make contact with someone. I saw a blue truck down in one of the areas
I seen the
down
blue
there.
truck. Is the white pickup truck your guys?
Right here.
Okay.
And from here to here is where we kind of lost the trail, but we were still kind of on it because we were using GPS and whatnot.
They escaped unharmed, but the explanation they were given later offered little comfort. Yes, it was hunting season, but Johnny couldn't accept that as the answer. Hunters don't fire blindly at hikers. The shot had been too close, too precise. For Johnny and his girlfriend, the hiking trip became a sobering reminder of how quickly the wilderness can turn. They were lucky to have been far enough from the shooter to escape unharmed, but the memory of those bullets, deliberate, precise, and close, remains. Some dangers in the forest come from the land itself, from weather, terrain, or wildlife, but others come from people, hidden where you least expect them. And that day, in the quiet of the woods, Johnny and his friends were forced to face the most unsettling truth of all. Sometimes it isn't the wilderness you need to fear, but whoever else may be out there with you. But still, one question remains. Who pulled the trigger that day? Was it a reckless mistake, or something far more sinister? Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.